Have you ever wondered how you could have everything you want? I will tell you, you become yourself. That means you become your authentic self. And that's when you will have everything that you want. And I can prove it to you because I know that that's absolutely true. And it doesn't matter if you haven't gotten there yet, if you don't have everything that you want, because you still haven't embraced your authentic self. And that's a journey. That's a journey that you move through in your life. And that's a journey that we move through in our world as well. And that's what's occurring right now. I posted several things over the last few weeks on YouTube. Videos where I'm explaining certain things about how we change, the transformation that we can go through about what was happening in our world, and basically how I knew that. And I'm going to show you a little bit more of that because I talked about Carl Jung and synchronicity because I posted several things where I received messages over the years, over 35 years, on certain days, and they're aligned because I know that there's an alignment in the universe that we can all come to, and every person is aligned to that. And so when you find that place where you're meant to be, that's your authentic self, and then you'll start having everything that you want. Now, I haven't done that because I'm only doing it today. You see, because you may not have found your authentic self because it wasn't time yet. Because there's timing in the universe, there's timing in your life, there's a divine plan for you, however you think of it. But I know that that exists. And so, but believing that was the difficulty, and that's the same difficulty that you would have, is that self-belief. Most times we think that we're imposters, where we get ideas about what we're supposed to do, who we're supposed to become, and we think that doesn't make sense. That's not me. And then you feel this kind of lack of courage and just this lack of confidence because no, that can't be me. And I'm saying, yes, it is. And when I tell you that I received information for decades and it turned into a philosophy that could transform your life and our world, that seems really challenging for to believe. It was challenging for me to believe as well, except I was experiencing it. And I experienced it today because I know the energies that are moving in our world and what you might be experiencing. And I can show you something that will give you a little more understanding, and then I'm going to explain a little bit more. But I'm going to read this message to you, and we're going to talk a little bit more about synchronicity. And this message was, as you see, July 19th of 2020. The world you wanted to see is before you. We know those words may not be the words many of you wanted to hear at this time while observing your world's current conditions. But if you study and understand this message, you will feel better. We are also having some challenges with Roger in disseminating this information as we are navigating around his human judgment of what is occurring. You each do this as well, and it will become evident to you. Throughout the ages, humanity has been in a continual process of evolution. Evolution is always about becoming more, greater, and more powerful. You do this individually, and as we have been saying for a while, you do it collectively. The challenge you have always had is understanding and acknowledging the equality of all. Now, if you look at only yourself, you will see evidence of this. You continually deny parts of yourself and judge other parts. We are still speaking of the collective you. Please keep this in mind. At certain turns, you get glimpses of who you always wanted to be, but you notice you cannot become the whole person you wanted because you discounted, judged, and tried to ignore some aspects of you. The only time you seem to become motivated enough to change is when you are in a state of fear or when it feels to you as if you are being forced to do so. We have just described the current condition of your life and the world. You will not be able to blame others or your government, for as we said, you are the government. But because you have created separation within yourself, you see it in the world. But again, you wanted to see it by any means possible. For now, you have the opportunity to become whole. We love this message so much, for as you study it and find clarity, you will feel better. Remember, you will be fine. That's the nature of the messages that I received for 35 years, and they turned to this philosophy. We exist in our consciousness. We raise our consciousness individually, and that is how we heal. And I also posted something on February 19th on this year. You can find it on Any Advice for Today. I'll leave a link here as well. Because February 19th of 1989 was the first day that I actually saved a Wilhelm message. And then I kept doing it every single day, didn't know why I was doing it. And now to discover that February 19th was a pretty important day in history. And if you Google that, you will see that there's so many events that happened on February 19th over the years that were historical events. How could that have happened? There is a synchronicity that goes on in that as well. There's an energy that happens. And then I always like to go back to Tesla because, see, then when we want to understand creation, we have to think about energy, vibration, and frequency. And so we have frequencies that operate within us. We come to understand that because when we raise our frequencies, meaning that we're coming into higher states of understanding and consciousness, love, and acceptance, then we heal. And I can say this because that's what happened. That's exactly what happened as this work kept coming through because I had everything wrong. I have to tell you that. I had all these horrible physical conditions, and I can go through a list, which I will be doing because I'll be putting this out. I'll be doing another book about it because I want you to know that we can move through those things when we become aligned with who we are, and that is your authentic self. And so when I said that I had, it was revealed to me, and this story is coming out because there's several things that I've filmed that are going to be coming out soon. But when I said that I received all of this information in 2012, well, that was a specific time that I received the information, most of it that I've used in my work. But it's been throughout this entire time. And as you read that message from February 19th of 2024, it's on my site, anyadvicefortoday.com. And the title of it says, accepting this message could change your life and the world. Now, I know that's true because if each person decided to own who they were, remember their connection to source, to God, to all that is, then they heal, they change, and then the world starts to do the same thing. But we're not in that place right now. And this message came through today because we're going to see that disruption, that separation. And I know that it's coming about, and we'll see it in the United States pretty much, but all over the world. But I've talked about the United States so much because they have been the epicenter of this change that is going on, and we're going to experience it. That's why I was given this work. And it wasn't meant to be known or brought about until now because I had to know, I had to develop it. And I'll tell you this, when you're creating something, you don't know what it's going to turn out to be, and no matter what it is. I first put out my work in 2021, and people didn't understand what it was doing, and then I said, no, this can transform your life. This can do all these things, and people said, nope, can't happen. And I wasn't charging enough money either. And they said, it can't be worth anything. But then you listen to the testimonials that are there, and those people are the testimonials that have only done the 31 days of my work. That's all that they have done. I haven't finished. And so now what is happening is I'm finishing it. I'm putting it all in there because there's so much that I have that I'm going to give to others. And that's what this work is going to be. And I have to finish it because in about a month or so, I'm going to be exposed to about hundreds of thousands of people by the end of the year, 1 million. So yeah, I have to catch up with myself. That's what we all do because our evolution is always ongoing. We're never done. I'm saying, I'm 73 and doing this now. You could be older and still doing something else because evolution and it occurs in our consciousness and it's unlimited. When you hear that term potential, yeah, we all have it. We just decide when we're going to embrace who we are. And that can be challenging. It was challenging for me because I said, no one's going to believe this. Even though I'm showing the results, it's hard to get over how it occurred. But I'm going to show you something else because if you can take away one idea, because see, you were never born any less than any other person. You have the consciousness, you have the ability, you have everything within you, which I've said so much. And if you look at my website, I always say, you are a gift to humankind. That's every single person. Why would anybody be born less than another? Never happened. We just have been programmed to believe something different. And that programming has happened over generations. And so what happened, I was given something to change this generation to show that we could create something better, which is why the world that we wanted to see is before us now, meaning that it's each of us who has to decide that we are going to own our authentic self, because that's a different energy that we will put into our lives and then into the world. And when you put it into your life, magical things happen. And you've heard this before, but I can tell you that it's all true. And I'm going to start talking about it a lot more. When you read Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life, she's absolutely correct, because that's what I was proven as well. And if you read Dr. John Sarno's book, that's on healing back pain, because he talked, or the divided mind, he talked about the same thing. And guess what? He was absolutely correct. I have no back pain, any of those things that you're supposed to have when you get older. No, that's gone. And I'm saying this because not everyone will do it, but it is possible. And that's what I want you to understand, because the more of us who decide to move to higher states of consciousness, we have a very different experience and then a very different world. But there's one thing that I want you to see, because I was told also that when I met someone, if I would meet someone in person, I would have a message in 2012 for their birthday, and that has happened every single time. And there's certain things that we can't explain, because that's the connection to the universe that we all have. And when we try to use our logical minds to figure it out, it usually doesn't get us there, because our logical minds are limited from what we have already known. We have to become willing to step outside of that. Here is the other message I want you to have. Infinite intelligence is available to all souls, and all one need do is become willing to access it. You are continually being made aware of this fact, but at times you are not willing to listen. You will experience many times where you think you are hearing certain information again, but the only difference is you are now hearing it as an expanded being. This is precisely the process of expansion that you sought. There is no monopoly on information or intelligence, and it is shared by all, for you are all one. Study is the process of repeating or reliving that very intelligence so it becomes part of the new you. And that is the process of ascension, personal development, self-actualization, or anything that you might want to think of that gets you to understand who you are and accept your authentic self, to live the life that you want and to have everything that you want. Magical things will come about when you decide to do it. This is what my work does, and this is why I'm finishing it now, so that I will be prepared for all the thousands of people that will come, because I know that that's what will happen. But I'm telling you because you can check it out now. Also, I'm doing a channeling session on Sunday. Whenever you come to a Wilhelm channeling session, you will see that I can answer any question that you have. We have different dimensions of consciousness. And so when I'm channeling, I'm getting different information as all of this work has been shown. But again, you can have everything that you want. It's within you. See you soon. If you've not been here before, please subscribe, share it with others. I haven't really promoted my YouTube channel much, but that's going to start to change, because there are going to be so many more eyeballs on it. So, yeah, I just wanted to explain all of that. But have a great one, and hope to see you on Sunday. Thanks.